Electric Rover, here you go. Silent journey, watch us go. From the past to the future glide. Electric Rover, let's take a ride.
Is this for real? Can I take a photo?
Sure. In the last video, we drove the Land Rover up to Newcastle and back to visit the engineer.
Pretty cool trip. Did really well.
It was both a fun and successful trip. The engineer only had 4 more jobs that I had to do to gain the certificate that he'd write up for me. 4 things I've got to do. I need to put an accurate 6-digit odometer in. Requires a Platronic brake test. Documentation for existing headlights or fit ADR compliant lights with documentation. Spacer between caliper piston and inner pad to correct for disc thickness. So yeah, I've got to get on my skates and do all that. Okay, first job done. So I have got my odometer done. There it is there. It's a calibrated speedo as well. But that's the odometer, and it's a mathematical equation I've put in so that when you add the odometer from the Tesla and a certain number, it comes up with the kilometres that the Land Rover had. And then through a mathematical equation, any additional kilometres added, which will be on the Tesla odometer, is done minus 12%, and comes to that. Anyway, all I'm trying to say is I have an odometer. 6-digit odometer is accurate, so that's all the engineer needs. So that's a job done. Found a good place to do a Platronic brake test. Do a test. The brakes actually feel really good, I've got to say too. I'm not too worried. I mean, it's very quick. He just drives it onto the thing and gets a reading. And then, yeah, hopefully I can have a fiddle with the brake bias valve. And the engineer wants it 75 front, 25 rear, or I guess there or thereabouts. There's the Platronic brake tester there. Just finished testing and adjusting the bias valve. Guy here, Jake, was so helpful. Charged me $30 and I kept going backwards and forwards and adjusting it. Highly recommended. First reading was 68.32 on back. Adjusted the bias valve a bit more and made it worse, and then realised that I'd gone the wrong way. So then adjusted it the right way, 71.29. And at that point he was like, I mean, that's better than any Land Rover he's seen. Anyway, it was like, oh, should we leave it at that? It's like, oh no, I'll do one more adjustment. So I wound it out a bit more, did it again and got 74.26, so almost perfect. Brakes do feel good. Yeah, so annoyingly on that run, I think that it timed out because we've done a few runs by then. The load sensor for the pedal, he clips a load sensor on the pedal and just has a remote thing that communicates with the machine inside. I think it must have timed out or something. On that run we didn't get the pedal pressure. It's like, oh, and the engineer definitely needs the pedal pressure. Reset the pedal pressure thing and did another run and got 75.25. Literally perfect. This is what they give you. All the readouts. It gives you a balance. Oh, test speed gives you the speed. It's going a bit fast. It's supposed to be 5 kilometres an hour. Pedal pressure. Oh, there you go. Pedal pressure, 308 Newton meters, and they have a recommendation has to be between 250 and 880. So it's actually quite a light pedal pressure. And importantly, front to rear, 75% 25. That's perfect. And it's a big pass. Got to be happy with that. Awesome. Job done. Your lights. Steady lights. Just put them in. So these headlights here are definitely ADR compliant. What he was looking for was, so they have all these compliance numbers down here, E9H blah blah blah. So my old headlights which were really for testing purposes only. They're just ones off eBay. The only numbers I've got on them are DOT, which is Department of Transport, which is an American thing and is totally irrelevant in Australia, and SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers, which is fine, except there's no numbers on there. And remember, in Australia, we're a right-hand drive country, so the headlights are required, and it says this in the VSP 14s, they're required to dip down and to the left, like away from traffic. So they wouldn't comply in America. So anyway, that was easy. I just bought them and put them in, sorted. Other changes. I've also finished the rear brakes, as in he wanted me to put a spacer just there between the piston and the brake pad, so that the piston in this caliper comes out the same distance as it did in the Tesla, which is fine. I think the main mod to make it safe is adjusting the wear sensor though, so when it's really worn, it doesn't possibly fall out. So anyway, that's done. Took photos and sent all the details of all the jobs I need to do to the engineer. So I feel like my thesis is been submitted. My thesis that had minor revisions has been submitted. While waiting for the engineer to do his things, the front prop shaft that I'd ordered a stunning 6 months previously finally arrived. Now we've got the original prop shaft made by Repco there, and you can see the Raptor one. Let's weigh the old one. 6.2 kilos. And the new one, 11.8. It's almost twice the weight. That's how much more beefy it is. Good. And it's installed. The beast is installed, and yeah, it does actually feel a lot better. The other one, when I did this, it would move, not a lot, but you could hear it clonking a little bit. So this is full droop, so this is the worst angle it's going to get. And you can see how that double cardan, rather than one bend, it's got two, so basically effectively halves the angle of each one. So those angles look totally good and fine. Oh yeah, it's a lot better. Oh, it's quiet, there's no clonk, 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 clonk. Oh, it's so much nicer. Can't believe how much nicer that is. Guess what? I just got an email from the engineer. Finally. It's been, just to give you an idea on timescale, took the Land Rover up to the engineer on the 12th of December. What was that? 9 weeks ago. And basically a week later, on the 20th of December, I sent him everything he needed. Absolutely everything. So that was 2 months ago, and I've finally got a response. I've rung him a couple of times, and he's been busy and Christmas, but it's been 2 months. So, and I do actually have a deadline, like usually whatever, but everything electric is in less than 3 weeks. So I'm starting to Jesus, am I going to make it? Haven't got the certificate yet, but he's just sent me an email. He's attached a draft certificate for your Land Rover. Please review the drafts and advise if anything appears to be missing or incorrect. Right, so I'll check that it's all okay, and hopefully he can finish it, and then he has to submit it online to I don't know, New South Wales RTA or something. That doesn't mean that the Land Rover can just go in and register it then. I then need to get a blue slip, and I can't get the blue slip until I got the engineer's certificate, because I have to put the engineer's certificate on the blue slip. So as I said, less than 3 weeks till everything electric, and I'll have to ring around to try and get a blue slip, because it always seems to take, last time I had to get a pink slip for Evie there, it took 2 weeks to get in, and I don't want to leave it, you know, less than a week to do that in case there's something I have to do, and then I've got to go in and pay for it and get plates. It's sort of cutting it to the last minute. So anyway, I'm going to review what is sent and make sure it's all right and get back to him, and hopefully he can submit it and get it done straight away. So I went through the draft engineer's certificate, checked all the details, and yeah, luckily they're all correct. So yeah, I verified to him that yeah, nothing needs to be changed. He also just needed to know a bit more details about what heater demister setup was. Standard Tesla PTC heater ducted up to the original Land Rover vents, so that's all he needed to know. So he's going to enter all that into the RTA site, and yeah, then I can get the blue slip organised. I've also been doing other things to the Land Rover while I've been waiting. I've got some lights. Yeah. So we sleep in the back of the Land Rover here, and I found it useful having this floor, this false floor, a bit higher. So we have mattresses up here. And this length here is, what is it, 1.8 metres? And that's about my height. So I was just sort of found it a little bit squishy. If you had the door open, it was fine, but I usually found it a little bit squishy. So having this higher, the mattress, and you can bring your head back a bit further. I actually fold the seats forward a little bit, and there's just a bit more room. So this false floor solves that problem. But also obviously lots of storage under here. I've got these tubs that fit under here. Used to have a drawer system here, but I don't think I need that anymore, and it was friggin' heavy. A bit more storage on the sides here. Still finishing off all that because they're a bit rattly at the moment. I've got it all lined, and it seemed like a bit of a waste of space not utilising the gap between the trim and the sides here. So I made little storage shelves, which would be super useful for camping. That middle light, I thought, like when we're getting into the back of the car to go to bed, you want to be able to switch the lights on, obviously. So you might switch that light on so you can see what you're doing, and then you get into bed. But then when you're in bed and your head's up at that end, how do you switch that light off if the switch is here? But then when you're in bed up this end, you can also switch it on and off with this switch. It's basically the same wiring as in a household two-way switching, so that works well. And then these front switches do these front lights, which are movable obviously, so you can either use this switch as for an extra light in the front cab, or you just put it back and they're perfect reading lights. In addition, you can see it says Zigbee, or can you see? It does, it says Zigbee on here. Zigbee is a communications protocol. A bit like Wi-Fi sort of thing. So these are smart lights. So with the right controller, a Zigbee controller, you can control brightness and colour. And this is an NS panel, and these have a built-in Zigbee controller. So you can control them from this, obviously. Turns that light off. Turn it back on. You can hold it. You can see you can change the hue of it all, make it more orangey, or you can make it more white, and brightness, brighter or duller. Yeah, I mean, that's useful. Although in saying that, most of the time it's much more useful being able to control lights just with a switch. I much prefer that. It's just on off. You don't have to get into a system and find it on a touchscreen. It's much more intuitive. But it's useful to be able to change the settings. So yeah, you can also access this is the do-it-yourself BMS This was all done by Stuart Pittaway, an open source project. So you can see all the 14 battery cell and voltages and temperatures, and you can, select parameters to change the settings and when they balance, and switch the relay off for safety, and etc, etc. So yeah, that's sort of useful. I've also managed to find a 48 volt USB supply. It's got PD, USB-C output and just a USB-A, and it's QC3, which is good. And yeah, usefully it gives you the voltage of that 48 volt battery. I can also charge my laptop off that, which is awesome. Monday, 17th of February, and the engineers come through and I've got the certificate. Yay! Finally, after 2 months. But so that's good news. He had a bit of a delay with being able to submit it. Apparently the New South Wales RTA site was down, but yeah, it's come back up. So he's submitted it and sent me the certificate via email. Now I've got to get a blue slip, and a blue slip is like a safety inspection. Because it's been changed from diesel to electric, I need to get a authorised blue slip inspection to verify it, do a safety check on the car. Then they go online and change it from diesel to electric. So I've rung around. Initially, the soonest, so we've got 2 weeks, 3 days till I have to drive up to Sydney for everything electric, and I've promised to display it there, and I don't want to break that promise. First place I rang, I couldn't get in till Friday week, so that's cutting it a lot too fine. Another place Wednesday week, but I've booked it in for Tuesday week, so in 8 days' time. That's as soon as I could get in. So hopefully that'll go smoothly and I won't have any issues and we can register it finally. It's Tuesday. We are on our way to Queanbeyan to get a blue slip, or hopefully get a blue slip. Fingers crossed it'll all go okay. Guess where the next location is going to be? Service New South Wales. Let's go. Not very far away. It's passed. There we go. I just got to pay for it and do the paperwork and then it's registered. Okay. So the first thing I need to organise before I'm allowed to register the car is some compulsory third-party insurance. Okay, so that gets sent to New South Wales RTA, but it can take, 30 minutes or so, can it? So I've just been into Service New South Wales there. Had to organise a green slip first, which is a bit of a pain in the ass. It took like 30-40 minutes on the phone. So green slip is CTP, compulsory third-party insurance. So got all that, got all the things, gave him the blue slip, gave him the new the form of new registration, ticked all the boxes, and they said, it won't let me change it to electric. There's no electric model of this, obviously. So they have to send all the documentation off to Tech Standards or something and get them to add Land Rover 110 drive type electric, not diesel or whatever. It's sort of annoying, like literally everything's done. She had the plates out. It's like, I can't do it. So anyway, got to go home, wait for her to call after it's sorted out, and then I'll come back and do all the things. So either today or tomorrow. So I got a call from Service New South Wales, who had sent the details to technical inquiries or whatever they're called. Said, the details on the blue slip and the compliance certificate don't match. It's like, okay, well, what doesn't match? And she said, we can't tell you. It's like, what? Jesus Christ, is it a secret? So you have to be a detective. I think I managed to get out of her, I think it's the model that's written down. I'm like, surely we're on the same side here. We just want to get the details right. Anyway, God. I rang Harley, who did the inspection. It was really good. It's really friendly, very easy to deal with, and so you can't change a blue slip. You can't modify it at all. So he's going to have to rewrite the whole thing. I don't have to get the car re-inspected or anything. He's going to rewrite it. Probably good for him to ring technical services to make sure he does what they want him to do. Just got to get over the last bureaucratic hurdles. So I'm at Service New South Wales, day 2 of trying to get the Land Rover registered. This is the 3rd time I've come in. So they sent the blue slip and so they sent the paperwork away again to technical services, and apparently they were happy enough to add the Land Rover as electric, I guess. So then the lady at the counter had a drop-down menu she could choose and make it electric. So we got plates and we got triangles. So we're registered. It's all done. Finally. Yes. Quite satisfying job of putting the new number plates on the Land Rover. Also have to put this EV label on, which signifies it's an electric vehicle. So these are mandatory in Australia, basically to let emergency services know that it's an electric vehicle rather than a petrol or diesel vehicle, because it's different putting out a fire in an electric vehicle than petrol or diesel. Basically you just need water rather than foam and stuff. It's sort of weird that they have the same one for hybrid as well as electric, because hybrid has 2 flammable sources, highly flammable petrol and less flammable battery. Problem is the petrol is more likely to catch fire and then spread to the battery, and you know, statistics show hybrid vehicles are the most likely to catch fire, and electric vehicles are the least likely. Petrol and diesel are in the middle. I sort of like these more just to show that it's electric and not diesel still. So yeah, I'll put them on the number plates. Number plates are on and the car's registered finally. So Camille's going to do the first non-registration related drive in the Land Rover.
First fully road legal,
yeah.
unqualified.
Does it feel like it did before?
It does not. Although the steering hasn't quite kept up with the acceleration.
Yeah. It's a lot more, it's not as direct as the Tesla.
No.
Is the performance adequate?
Yes. The performance is amazing.
Yeah, he's just sitting on his bed looking out the back.
Yeah.
Well, it's a nice day.
It feels like it's got a bit more performance.
Yes, well...
I have to remember to handle it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I've forgotten to comment on how quiet it is because I'm used to the Tesla.
I mean, remember when we used to do trips, well, up to Brisbane, we had sound deadening Bose headphones and intercom system to talk to each other.
I mean, I've driven this car a handful of times.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was too...
And now I
much for them.
would be much happier to just get in and drive it now.
What do you think, Vic? So we're basically done. It's all registered and legal. Thanks everyone for all the positive comments and all the cool questions. We're going to have this up at Everything Electric next week, 7th, 8th and 9th. Come along and say hi and have a look at the car. That'd be really cool. Thanks for watching.
Electric dreams coming real soon.